Today, I'm spending time with my kids, and it's my favorite place to be because our kids are our lives, and time is fleeting. We hear it all the time, and we just let it go in one ear and out the other because we still live in our trauma. We still live reactively to life, and we're so obsessed with just providing for our children and being out there and working as hard as we can all hours of the night away from home. And we don't see that the most important asset, the most important thing in life is family and the time spent with your children. If you ask any person that's towards the end of their life or on their deathbed, I promise they're not going to say, I wish I worked harder. I wish I worried more. I wish I was, out at the bar or at the sports game or away from my kids. They are going to desperately instruct you to spend that time with your kids, to be present. There's so many studies on child behavior and development. Homes that had a father present, huge correlation to success, huge correlation to emotional maturity and being stable, psychologically stable, versus the opposite. A huge metric. It's one of the largest metrics that we could change by being fathers and being present and not just trying to escape being tied down. We don't understand that it's not being tied down. It's literally being given joy itself. Joy itself is realizing that the harder that you lean into being with your family, the harder you lean in and accept to being one with your wife and only your wife, that kind of all-in commitment, that kind of closeness, we get to cultivate and develop these little lives that grow up and to be our support system later in life. You're going to want a relationship with your grandchildren when you're old, and you're not going to want to have to raise your grandchildren. You're going to want to have had raised your children and instill discipline and character and the Word of God and wisdom, through the Word of God in their life, so they will be strong. Doesn't mean they're not going to face adversities or difficulties or hard times, but that's the point. You've got to build them for those hard times. You've got to show them by being around. How does dad handle problems? How does dad solve this? Does he lose his mind? Does he throw something across the room? Or does he take a deep breath and try something, and that doesn't work, and he tries again? That doesn't work. He stays calm, reminds everyone to be calm and confident, and tries again until he finds something. That's how he handles problems. Imagine if we were sending children into the world that had that concept, that had that worldview. Not all children that have a father in the home do well either, but being present with your kids is the best incubator that you could possibly give. A question that I like to ask myself, and I would challenge all the dads listening to this, is would you die for your children? And most people, when I ask them that, or when I ask myself that, is yes, I would. I would give my life for my children. Well, how about you live for your children? And if you were actually living for your children, you would be trying to give them the best that you possibly could. Full spectrum, not just financially, not just money. That's important to provide for them, but presence, your presence, not presence that you open, is most important. So be present with your children. And here's the thing, the reward is not, it's not a chore. It's not a duty to be present with your children. It's the greatest joy once you discover it, once you feel their embraces and their little kisses on your cheeks and the pictures they draw for you and the correlations between what you're into and what they're into, and they try to impress you, and it's just unbelievably rewarding when you're cultivating these lives, when you're close with your children. There's not a lot of people you can trust and be around, but your kids, your family, that should be where your peace is. That should be where your home is, and you should run to that. You should be drawn to that, and you should protect that. So work as hard as you can, provide as richly as you can, but remember to be present and provide your time, your love, your energy, your patience, your example to your kids. And that's how they will be better than you, and they will carry into the next generations. Be present with your kids. Love on your kids. more time with your kids, because time in the end is the most important thing that we have, and we don't realize it. And I am realizing it moving forward. I am not going to waste another single day. You got this, dads. Much love, Nate.